The Indiana football team welcomed the Michigan State Spartans to Bloomington for the Big Ten opener. We have full coverage.
The women's soccer team opened up their Big Ten campaign with 2 home matches against Ohio State and Penn State. We'll bring you the results.
And the volleyball team welcomed 2 ranked rivals to Bloomington in Purdue and Illinois. All this and more next on Hoosier Sports Night. After their first loss last season against Illinois, the Indiana football team was able to bounce back with an upset victory over Iowa. This year, the Hoosiers look to do the same, this time against Michigan State. The Spartans come into Memorial Stadium with a 3-1 record and a Heisman Trophy candidate at running back in Javon Ringer. At stake, the old brass spittoon, which the Hoosiers hadn't won since 2006 and only won twice in the past 10 seasons. Kellen looking to make up for his performance last week versus Ball State, taking the field, but it's Ben Chappell under center and Kellen Lewis in the backfield, split out as a back. Maybe this is a preview for the NFL scouts, who knows. Chappell steps up, throws the ball out to Lewis, who gets to the first down marker. Believe it or not, that is Lewis's first reception as a Hoosier. And here Kellen Lewis back at quarterback, getting away from the defense, throws a pass to the end zone to Fisher for the touchdown to get Indiana on the board. But it would not be good news for long, as Lewis had injured his ankle soon after that play. Chappell now in, looking to make up for Lewis's play, throws a pass to Fisher. It's bounced up in the air and intercepted by Ross Weaver, who has some blockers looking to go downfield, but is unable to make it in the end zone. The Spartans would score soon after that. Now the Spartans back with the ball as quarterback Brian Hoyer throws the ball into the end zone for a touchdown, giving the Michigan State Spartans a 17-point lead. But here's a good special teams play as Jeremy Finch blocks his second punt of the season. There's a scramble in the end zone. The Hoosiers would wind up with a safety, and Finch is pumped. He's getting the Hoosiers into this game. But the Spartans would respond. Brian Hoyer back to pass, zings it in there through the defense, gets it to his tight end Charlie Gant for the 82-yard touchdown. Hoyer was 14 for 26 with 261 yards on the game. The Hoosiers responded quickly as the ball is handed off to Thigpen, and the track star is gone. Forget about it. The Spartans cannot catch up to him as he scores the touchdown. Thigpen went over 100 yards again this game. Now we enter the second half at a pivotal point in the third quarter. Ben Chappell back to pass, evades the defenders, and throws deep to Turner. It's complete. Looks like he might be caught, but no, he cannot. It is a touchdown. But if you notice that little yellow thing in the corner, you're probably worried that, yes, it is a holding call. And if you take a look here at number 79, clearly tackles his defender, and that's how Chappell got the pass off. Javon Ringer, the Heisman candidate for the Spartans, was held to a quiet 198 yards, or at least as quiet as 198 yards could be. He also scored a touchdown during this game. And the Michigan State Spartans take the old brass spittoon with a final score of 42-29.
After a close first half, the IU Hoosiers had a tough time producing any offense in the second half against a tough Michigan State defense. A rough day on offense and some costly penalties would give the Spartans a 42-29 win over the Hoosiers.
There was a lot of, I don't want to say crazy plays, but I guess there were big plays that shifted the momentum of the game throughout. And we came up a little short there late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. And you know, then once we got down 2 scores, it made it a little bit different.
The Hoosiers pulled all of the tricks out of the bag today, using Kellen Lewis as a receiver and as a punter. But nothing was enough to overcome the Spartans.
You know, even though we lost, I felt like we played a hell of a game today on both sides of the ball.
They're very disappointed, and that's exactly the way you'd want them to feel. But I also know the guys we have in that locker room, they're going to come back tomorrow and come back Monday, and we're going to get ready for the Gophers, just like we came back from last week and got ready for this team.
About the loss, Coach Lynch said, "We lost the game, but we found a football team." The Hoosiers are back to work Sunday to get ready for the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. From Memorial Stadium, I'm Brett Goldenhorn, Hoosier Sports Night.
Marcus Thigpen was the offensive star for the Hoosiers, amassing 113 yards on the ground and 94 through the air with 2 total touchdowns. Kellen Lewis filled out the stat sheet with 26 yards on the ground, 177 through the air, 17 on receptions, and even 32 with a punt. Brian Hoyer had his best game of the season for the Spartans, 14 passes for 261 yards and 2 touchdowns. The offenses matched up evenly, with MSU gaining 497 yards compared to the Hoosiers' 473. However, the difference lay in the number of penalties IU committed, as they were flagged 9 times for 89 yards.
Just when you thought Kellen Lewis could do it all for the Hoosiers, you were right. Although they lost to Michigan State, he got his name in the statistics for rushing, passing, receiving, and even punting. The only thing he didn't do for the Hoosiers was play defense.
I work as a decoy a lot of the times, and like I said before, sometimes people think, you know, with me in the game, there's got to be some trick play up, there's got to be something going on, or he's got to be getting the ball and he's throwing it back to somebody. But a lot of the times we're just, you know, we're lining up on a normal set, and I'm just that receiver, and it just attracts more attention, and it gives other guys opportunities to have more one-on-one opportunities, because, you know, everyone's, like I said, you know, everyone kind of thinks with the quarterback a wide receiver, you know, there's some sort of trick play coming in. I've been telling people for years and years in high school I had the best net punting average in the city. You know, I just needed the opportunity to go out there and get a good solid punt in, and I'm not gonna lie, initially when I kicked it, I thought I was gonna roll into the end zone, and I have no idea how to put spin on the ball whatsoever to make it go forward or backwards. So when it spun backwards, it was actually a little surprising, but it's always good to just play it off and walk out the field like that's how you're supposed to kick the ball.
That's part of Kellen playing. I mean, he's all over the field, no matter what, you know, at quarterback too. So that's part of the game.
If you thought it was unusual to see Ben Chappell and Kellen Lewis on the field at the same time, opponents and the Hoosier fans better get used to seeing this kind of formation.
I just think that we felt like it was time to do it, and you know, it can give us something, you know, because they're both good football players, and it's not just a hokey kind of thing where, because Kellen obviously can make plays, you know, in a lot of different ways, and Ben can certainly handle the quarterback part of it. So it's kind of what we thought was a natural thing that we'd worked on throughout the preseason and early on, and we just felt like you know, we were going to use what we had today.
From Memorial Stadium, Alexis Hoosier, Hoosier Sports Night.
Last season, Spartan running back Javon Ringer gained 203 yards on the Hoosiers on only 29 carries. Coming into this game, it was no secret that the Hoosiers needed to contain Ringer to have a chance at winning. And for the most part, they did, giving up 198 yards but on 44 carries. Katie Spencer has more.
Arguably one of the best running backs in the country, Michigan State's Javon Ringer ran circles around IU's defense. With his explosive talent and desire to win, Michigan State did not want to let him down.
Indiana, they played tough. Their defense played very emotional and with a lot of passion, and they just continued to hit throughout the entire game. They never got tired. They never just were ready to roll over. I mean, they played great. I mean, this is one of the toughest times I've had running the ball, but just credit to my offensive line for just providing me with the little creases that I needed just to keep moving.
With 197 rushing yards and 44 carries, Ringer was also able to put the ball in the end zone.
He's just going to keep coming. I mean, there's so many intangibles. It's his toughness, it's his work ethic, attention to detail, it's his confidence. He's got great vision in the hole. He can slide with the ball. He's extremely explosive. So all those things, when you put them all together, it makes him very special. And he's very talented physically, but when you bring all those other attributes with him, he becomes a guy that you know, you really don't want to let him down.
I didn't care about the yards. I was just so happy just to get out with the win, because the way their offense and defense was playing. I mean, the 200-yard thing, whatever. If that comes, that whatever. But I mean, as long as we come away with the win, that's definitely the #1 thing. I was not trying to ask for the 200 for the ball anymore, and I guess me and Coach just meant that we had that same thing in our head. Just get out of here with the wins.
With the Hoosiers in Bloomington, I'm Katie Spencer, Hoosier Sports Night.
Coming up, the women's soccer team took on Penn State and Ohio State over the weekend to open Big Ten play.
And the men's soccer team welcomed UC Santa Barbara to Bill Armstrong Stadium. We'll give you the recap coming up next on Hoosier Sports Night.